Blaskowicz, a name that would come to ring out across the universe as the bane of evildoers from the Nazis to hell itself, a name that is spread throughout history, sweet to the oppressed and sour to the oppressors. A name that has seen time shatter and change the fragile illusion that is reality. In one timeline, William Blaskowicz would single-handedly end World War II by killing Hitler, settle down with his beloved wife Julia, and continue his name. But all that is gone now. Watching the Zeppelin crash over the great castle and the power fade from the Thule medallion, he felt time fracture. There was no magic anymore. The future he had seen no longer existed. In that moment the world had changed, and nothing would ever be the same.
Hello, my honey. Hello, my rack.
Where the Thule race had once excelled, humanity now had to do the same. In the absence of magic, societies of great engineers and thinkers rose to create marvels, not based on the power of the Black Sun, but of technology. Societies like the Das Yachud propelled mankind into technological revolutions and enlightenments for millennia, but as it always did, the greed of man overcame sense, and the search for these marvels led to bloodshed and war. As in the original timeline, B.J. Blaskowicz was born on the 15th of August 1911, but time is a fickle mistress, and would toy with B.J. before even the day he was born. This time his birthplace was Mesquite, Texas, to a young Jewish girl and an abusive Polish-American businessman. It is not clear how the absence of magic from the world caused such nuanced changes, but suffice to say, powers beyond the understanding of any human had ordained it to be. And so BJ's upbringing this time was hardly the pleasant everyday one he had once experienced, but of suffering and misery. Protected by his mother until he was old enough, BJ ran away from home to join the US Army. For the most part, his career progressed as it had originally, rising through the ranks, joining the Office of Secret Actions, and carrying out secret missions behind enemy lines. Secret missions where he first encounters the Nazis' experiments with advanced technology to create super soldiers. In 1944 he was sent to stop the Nazi researcher Wilhelm Death's Head Strauss from obtaining a powerful new power supply. Upon arriving, BJ felt a convergence of time, for it was here where it had all begun, where in his previous life BJ had cut off Earth from the Black Sun energy. Strauss though had somehow found out about the Thule dimension and was trying to access it once again. Thwarting the plan, this time a connection was never made to the Black Sun, and BJ had inadvertently fixed his and everybody else's destiny. A year later he would be sent to Castle Wolfenstein, again with the same mission as his original timeline counterpart, and again facing Hitler. Instead, this time Hitler overcame BJ in his mech suit, and without his death the war dragged on, eventually leading to the events of the Old Blood, the New Order and the New Colossus. BJ would never meet Julia, and it would seem there would no longer be a future for his family. But as with his own birth, certain events seemed ordained to occur, and BJ would meet and fall in love with Anya Oliwa, the woman who would become mother to twins. At last the Nazis would be overthrown, and a semblance of peace would return to the world. One of BJ's children, Arthur, would grow up into a career in show business, changing his name to Blaze for greater mass market appeal. He in turn would father a child he would name after his own father, William Joseph Blaskowicz II, otherwise known as Billy Blaze. A child genius who would secretly defend the Earth against alien threats under his alias of Commander Keen. While his adventures may seem whimsical and non-consistent with the style of ultra-violence his grandfather was accustomed to, his actions were vitally important in their own right. In fact, his story may have been a direct result of his grandfather's actions in a different timeline, and may yet impact his own lineage. Speaking of which, once he had grown up and Earth was capable of travelling to the stars and holding their own against alien threats for the most part, Billy felt it only right to continue his family's name, naming his son William Blaskowicz III, who would grow up to join the military as his great-grandfather had. Only his career would not be nearly as distinguished, and he would end up being shipped off to be part of a United Aerospace Corporation's defense force on Mars after assaulting a senior officer. However, just like the rest of his heritage, his morals were firm, intervening only after being ordered to fire on innocent civilians. Still, it was either dumb luck or fate at work once again that he should be exiled to the site of interdimensional teleportation experiments that garnered the attention of a realm that had been waiting and watching for a very long time, after the alternate version of BJ pierced the fabric of reality with the Spear of Destiny, all the way back in 1940. Without warning, hell locked onto the site of the portals and began swarming across the moons of Mars, forcing a response in the form of the UAC Defense Force, including Blaskowicz himself. Only this was a full-on invasion, and the Defense Force would be decimated, leaving a lone Marine alive, and this Marine would grow stronger, become feared by the demons, and be dubbed the Doom Slayer. From the point where the original BJ tossed away the Thule medallion and time shifted, you could wonder which history is true when leading to the descendants of Blaskowicz. The reality is that both timelines are equally as valid as each other. Where both major and minor changes happened, other certain events would always have to occur. The fall of the Nazis, the birth of Arthur Blaskowitz. Despite the split, time would always converge back on itself, leading to effectively the same future. From the perspective of a timeless, eternal realm like that of Hell, Earth was a quantum mess during the 20th century, hence why the demons bided their time until the timelines began to merge back together to begin an invasion. If anything, humanity's dimension-hopping antics would only serve to protect Earth, to an extent, and they would soon come to realise this, and a whole core of interdimensional rangers would be formed to keep humanity safe from whatever quaking horrors may exist beyond the veil.